What's up, everyone? It's your boy NS Racing 97, aka Nathan Stapleton, and welcome everyone to Richmond Raceway in Virginia for the first time ever in the Powerade Truck Series, but not the first time ever on the channel. And we are set for race 5 on the season, and for the Toyota Owners 250, finally back here on the West Coast after 3 weeks in a row on the West Coast, with California 2 races and in Las Vegas for 1. Now we are here for a little bit of a Virginia swing, I guess, for the next 2 weeks in Martinsville and Richmond. And I'm not alone for this one for the third time on the season already. I'm Alex Graham up here in the Powerade Truck Series booth.
Yeah, I'm excited for this one. Richmond is a great short track. Of course, we recently had the Haas IndyCar Series here not too long ago, but this race is going to be completely different because these guys don't have quite the grip and downforce those guys do. But with that being said, I think we're in store for a great 60-lap race here tonight, and I'm excited to see how it all goes down.
It's going to be an interesting one for sure. We've not seen too many cautions yet this season. We might see a lot here tonight, or that trend might continue. We just have to wait and see. Richmond, 60 laps, about 35 to 40 lap green flag, or I should say fuel one for these truckers, and going to be interesting what we will see. What do you think we will see for these truckers? Because last time we were here on the channel for the JBL Cup Series, we saw 5 cautions and 2 or 3 flips.
Well, hopefully we don't see any flips tonight, but we could see a couple of spins, we could see a couple of cautions, but I think a lot of it just depends on how quickly they can spread out, and that is definitely a possibility here at Richmond. The faster they can spread out, the less likely it is we'll end up with a caution later on, but I'm also intrigued to see how the cycle of pit stops go, because if we do have a long green flag run, that could easily determine who goes to victory lane here today, and if you don't have a good pit stop, well, your shot at winning is going to go down the drain pretty quick, so these pit crews, especially if it's a green flag stop, have to be on their toes if they want to go to victory lane here tonight.
Yeah, for sure, going to be one pit stop just past halfway, and if we get a magic caution around like 25 or 30, then they could pit wire halfway and they would be good from the rest of the way. And here is the points after 4 races in the JBL, not JBL, I'm doing everything except in the Powerade Truck Series. Things are really, really, really tight up on the top of the point standings. Aaron Abel and Clinton Buchanan, believe it or not, are tied for the points after 4 races. Jordan Stout is 3rd, only 1 point behind, and then Jack Gronkowski is in 4th, only 2 points behind. And the bad thing for all 4 of those drivers, they start deep in the field. But of course, the highest one that starts tonight just so happens to be Aaron Abel. So have to see what he can do here. Roberto Crown Jr. is in 5th in points, getting 12 positions after a great one at Willow Springs. He's 14 points back. And 6th is Shane Winsoff, 16 points back. 7th is Nathan Bale, the Season 3 champion, and 17 points back. Tied for 8th and 9th, we got Benny Moore and Elijah Gordon, 21 points back. And then rounding out the last guy and on points for the chase would be Trey Smith in 10th, 24 points back. And then as of right now, the 2 wild cards for the chase would go to Dale Campbell, 11th in points, and then Trenton Wakefield, 16th in points with 1 win. Have to still think about that because it's race 5 of 11 of the regular season, and we're getting close to the halfway point on the regular season here, and getting crunch time already. And let's go ahead and get these truckers rolling off for race number 5 on the season. First race of back-to-back short tracks on the schedule for the Powerade Truck Series and for the Toyota Owners 250. Make sure everyone is rolling off for the side they are. Anthony Hernandez starts on the pole, and alongside him is Nathan Ormond. The number 40 of Trey Smith and Eric Shawn in row number 2. Chris Reynolds and Trenton Wakefield in row number 3. And then the 15 of Mitchell Collins and the 02 of Jason Miller. And rounding out the top 10 is the 18 of Justin Zidell and the 46 of Reggie Fogelman. 60 laps on tap here at Richmond, and it's going to be a exciting one here for the Toyota Owners 250. The longest short track race on the season, only by 10 more laps than the rest of them. Pace truck on pit road, and Anthony Hernandez and Nathan Ullman will lead us to the green. Race number 5 on the season, and the Toyota Owners 250 is green. We are racing at Richmond Raceway. Anthony Hernandez with a good 1 and 2, but Orman with a good 3 and 4, challenging him into turn number 1 here at Richmond in a really good, clean first lap.
Absolutely. Good to see a nice, clean first lap there. My pick to win this race is at number 40 of Trey Smith, who won the IndyCar Series race here not too long ago. So I'd watch out for him. Definitely a strong driver here on this racetrack. And even though the IndyCars are very different from these trucks, he's gotten a dub here in very recent times. And he's moving on the second there to the inside of Hernandez. And right behind those guys, I believe that's the 61 machine of Chris Reynolds, who was also in that IndyCar Series race. Actually, the teammate to Trey Smith in the Haas IndyCar Series, and they're both running rather strong right now here at Richmond.
Yeah, both of those drivers went really strong at Willow Springs. Trey Smith, I think, got a top 3, top 5 finish at Willow Springs, so Trey Smith starting to get some momentum in this number 40 truck for Nice Motorsports. Good to see that, as I am a little bit of a biased Nice Motorsports fan because of Hocevar. But here comes Chris Reynolds to the inside of Hernandez to the post, starting to drop back here as Mitchell Collins and Eric Shaw trying to close in and pass the number 12 as well. And here comes the season number 1 champion Ron Garcia starting to make some moves as well as Benny Watson and the highest part-time truck so far, as he's going to go 3 wide or get put 3 wide through the middle. That is Eric Monaco in the number 28.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see, which drivers come up through the field. We're going to see some comers and goers in this race here tonight, no doubt about it. This is one of those racetracks that definitely encourages that, and we'll see some strong late-run cars, especially if we get a long green flag run. How about this 15 machine? You got Mitchell Collins moving up to the 4th position, and Anthony Hernandez not really with a good jump here on the start in that 12 machine, kind of falling back there right now, but we'll have to see if he can, in fact, rebound later on. But Trey Smith trying to close in on Nathan Orman up front, but Orman kind of doing a good job holding on and keeping a good gap in between him and the 40 machine. And, maybe you have a bit of a bias towards Nice because that's the exact truck you drove in the Turkey Hill Truck Series last fall. So, maybe that's why you like that team so much.
Yeah, I drove this team. Horsefeld drives it in real life. My favorite truck drivers. So it's good to see Nice being good, me not being biased, but I talked about this yesterday in the Powerade Truck Series part-time qualifying for the number 12 of Hernandez. His finally on the bottom. This track is a one-groove short track. There's some short tracks that are multiple grooves. This is not one of them, and Hernandez, he started on pole but dropped back quickly to 7th place and now back on the inside lane finally. But definitely don't want to get stuck up top on that high side, and now Mitchell Collins might suffer the same fate, as well as Benny Watson in the number 23. How about the number 45, BP Ruiz in his first start in this 45 truck? Started 12th, and he's moving his way up to the front.
Yeah, Baby Ruiz doing a good job here. Remember, he ran a few races in the old Turkey Hill National Series back in the day on my channel. I can't remember if he ever got a race victory, but, jumping right in, his first race of the season and already top 10. Great run there for one of the other Nice Motorsports trucks right there, as we got the 52 of Eric Shaw going for the 3rd position there on Chris Reynolds. Definitely a little more stable up front. Obviously when we saw the IndyCar Series here a couple weeks ago, these guys were flying around here and barely hanging on. These guys, because it goes so much slower, it's a little bit harder to gain a run on the driver ahead of you. So that's going to favor Nathan Orman as this race goes along. But like I mentioned, that cycle of pit stops, once we get to it, could easily determine who goes to victory lane here tonight. And if you don't have the right strategy, if you come down too early, come down too late, it could throw off your entire race, and you may lose all the time you made up on this green flag run.
Yeah, that's very, very important. Orman, he might be leading right now with a comfortable half-second lead in clean air, but if his pit crew messes up on the one and only pit stop of the night, then Trey Smith could easily capitalize on it. But Trey Smith, these two, Orman and Smith, have pulled away from the field of the 52, 61, and the 15. And Trey Smith, he might be starting to catch up on Orman here. And he did. He gained 2/10 last time by. And we saw this at Willow Springs Outlets. This 40 truck was one of the fastest trucks on the long one. Maybe they got something figured out on the long one for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And if he does, in fact, have a long-run truck, he may be able to get around Nathan Orman before the cycle of pit stops begin. As we got a battle right there, 15 machine there. Mitchell Collins on Chris Reynolds. It's for the 4th position. And watch out for Collins. Looking pretty strong here as his run goes along.
Yeah, for sure. We almost saw the AA of Juan Garcia clip the apron a little bit. And I guess that's one way of trying to move someone out of the way, and Hernandez did not get back up on the top side. He tried running that second lane, just try out, and that did not work out for him whatsoever, as now Juan Garcia is all over the back bumper of that number 12. And Troy Smith still slowly catching up on Nathan Orman. Let's see here, the top 4 in points. Let's see, where are they? This will put the Quan Jr. 5th in points. He's stuck back in the middle of the field. And Abel is also stuck in the middle of the field. And I think all the point leaders up front are kind of in the middle of the field. This Jordan Stout in the middle of the field in number 7 truck. And oh!
Somebody went around down the back, but it may have happened to the back of the field because we're still green here.
And we
51
found the
machine.
culprit. Well, I was saying JBL Cup Series earlier. Well, unfortunately, I might have changed the JBL truck in the process. Matthew Burnett looks like got spun down the back switch. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen since that did not bring out a caution. That's unfortunate for the JBL truck. And we are still clean and green, 18 laps in. And now the 52 might be breaking away from the rest of the field. And now it's Sean trying to chase down Troy Smith.
Yeah, this 52 is looking pretty fast right now, but we're starting to get kind of towards the middle part of this run where the tire wear is starting to really come into effect for these guys, and that's when it gets a little bit harder to make passes on the racetrack when that tire wear is significant. So going to be interesting to see if this 52 machine can in fact close in on Trey Smith, but we're kind of just logging laps now until we get to that cycle, and then that's going to determine who gets the race victory.
Yeah, for sure. There's about half a second tire fall off at the end of the one, but it's about this point in the middle of the one, about 15, 20 laps in, where the tires really start wailing off, and I think that's what was happening here. And Zydell went wide in turn number 4, and Ben Watson and Anthony Hernandez all over him like a cheap suit, and it's going to be interesting of what happens here as all miles another one of the part-time trucks just outside the top 10. A good one for that number 3 machine. I believe making his first start on the season. It's a good one for him. Also Tyree Coleman, who's fastest, made his first start. And how about this? He's also starting to make his move up to the front as well. And so is Nathan Baer, the Season 3 champion. And I think some of these trucks might not have gone good qualifying ones, but some of these guys like Baer, Stout, Hartman, and others are starting to move their way up through the field on the long one here. As in, tell you what, who is also moving on the long one is Eric Sean in this number 52, but also this number 9 of Nathan Orman might be picking up the pace a little bit in that number 9 machine, as the 40 of Troy Smith got a great one off turn number 2.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, both of them closed in right there, and I'm not entirely sure if something happened to Ormond or not, but, at this point, everyone's kind of get a bit of a bubble around them, and it's going to be interesting to see if anyone can actually break that bubble and make a pass here, but a little bit of a shot right there as the 45 is going to get a good run on the 88 machine. Baby Ruiz, how about Ruiz in this race? First start of the season and already up to the 6th position there. And definitely excited to see what he can do as the season goes along, but a great run for him here. And, if he gets a good cycle on the pit lane, he could, in fact, have a shot at this race victory if things go his way. We'll just have to see how that all goes down, but back up front, Trey Smith trying to close in, but all these guys have a good opportunity. You got to think, too, if you saw the IndyCar Series race over on my channel, Trey Smith was not the dominant guy in the first part of the run before the cycle, but ended up getting the race lead after the cycle began, and it definitely could be what Trey Smith is looking at to possibly win this race.
Yeah, for sure. Still a long way to go, not even halfway through the Toyota's 250 here at Richmond. Clean and green so far. Well, not really clean and green, because we did have incident with the 51 truck, but that didn't bring out a caution. But how about this number 45 of BP Ruiz, and first start on the season? Of course, this 45 truck will be split up with 3 different drives for the rest of the season, but this 45 truck was fast at Willow Springs, so it's not just the driver. I think this team is starting to get momentum as a whole, but they're going to have a challenge with having 3 different drives for the rest of the season. But if they have this much speed, it might not matter who drives this 45 truck. As they're going through the field, mostly single file now here late in this one, about 7-8 laps left until pit stops, and have to see what will happen there, as it's just nice and calm so far at Richmond Raceway.
Absolutely, but it's definitely going to be a little more action-packed here soon. I think you said about a 35 to 39 lap fuel run here, so And we could be seeing these guys come down the pit lane here in about 6 laps or so, and that's definitely going to shake up the field, and it's going to get interesting. More movement back in here as the 18 goes to the inside of Juan Garcia. Garcia kind of falling back right there right now. Good run for Zaidel, who was also up front in that IndyCar Series race. Seems like that experience definitely is carrying over a little bit for a couple of these drivers.
Even though a truck is totally different than the IndyCar, apparently that is carrying over for these truckers, and there's the most recent winner, Quentin Moore, getting the job done at Little Springs. He's starting to move his way up to the front inside the top 15, halfway through the Toyota Owners 250, and this has been the case all season long. Clean racing, good racing, but lack of caution, surprisingly, and that might be due to the fact of the me lowering the aggression on these truckers. But once again, it's kind of like Daytona. In every Daytona test race, they crashed at some point. In every Richmond race, they were crashing. But so far, we've not had any crashes so far that brought out a caution. At least the 51 truck has obviously crashed. Troy Smith went high in turns 3 and 4 and lost a tenth of a second. So also that outside lane is not really you want to one. And Troy Smith, I still think he has a fast truck, but Nathan Woman with that clean air is taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and like I said at the top of the show, if we ended up getting a long enough green flag cycle where these guys spread out, the less likely it is that they'll wreck. And obviously we did see a wreck, but since no caution came out, it gave them more time to spread out, and that's kind of what we're seeing at the moment. So it's going to pick up here soon. I think in just a couple laps we'll start the cycle of pit stops, and it's going to be interesting to see which strategy ends up getting this race victory.
It's going to be very interesting. It should be happening within the next 2 or 3 laps here at Richmond Raceway. And I don't know what happened to Anthony Hernandez in the number 12, but now Johnny Hernandez, his dad, I believe, is out moving up to the front. So one Hernandez dropped, one Hernandez got along with a truck, and he's now inside the top 10 all over the back bumper of the number 18 truck. And I think next time by, or the lap, either in a lap or two, we should have pit stop start here at Richmond for the Toyota Owners 250. Let's see this time by the Orman pit here. And he is. So here we go, pit stops have begun.
And when we had the IndyCar Series race here, and I'm sorry I keep referencing it, but I literally just recorded the night before we recorded this, so it's fresh in my mind. Roy Ribbleton was dominating that race, and then came down the pit lane before everybody else and actually lost a 3.5 second lead that he had. So be careful as Nathan Orman. Make sure you have a good pit stop. These guys who stay out later may actually have the advantage here in this one.
I have to wait and see. Also have to be very, very careful that these truckers do not cause a caution exiting pit road and someone trying to come down pit road. That did happen in a couple of test races, as a bunch of trucks are coming down this time by on lap number 37. And now the number 15 and Mitchell Collins is out front, pinning on that number 38. Ruiz, and I think everyone else should come down here on that number 38.
We'll see where that number 9 is. Still a couple guys staying out. We'll see where Nathan Orman is. He's coming off the pit lane now. So you're going to have Trey Smith coming off here shortly. You'll have to see if he can come out in front of the number 9 of Nathan Orman here, or if they are a little bit closer, possibly even swap positions.
DeLetto and Jordan Stout were the ones that decided to stay out another lap on lap 39. And now I believe that is everyone that has pitted. It's number 9 of... Oh,
contact. Big contact on the pit lane.
Tanner Poulton and Zachary DeLetto. We saw that at Little Springs, and we saw that here at Richmond. And Troy Smith is...
Troy Smith's got an issue. He's stuck on the pit lane. That is such a tough break for him there. Had a second place run going for him, and something amiss on that crew. They may not even finish this race.
Either he missed his spots, or there was contact, or they got a massive problem. I'm not entirely sure. You guys will know of what happened with me putting it in the corner of the screen, but once again, something that does not bring out a caution was something that unfortunately is going to take out Troy Smith as the race for the race win. Now we have to see as careful Jordan Stout. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Luckily we didn't have a caution because of that, but a couple of close calls right there. Let's see here as Troy Smith is still on pit road.
And Orman definitely got the advantage out of everybody else right there. I think he's got a 2.5-second lead at this point in that number 9 machine. But the question is, will the 52, I should say, of Eric Shawn actually have some longer run speed here and possibly catch up? You got to think Orman's right in front of lap traffic, actually right behind lap traffic right now. And that could also slow him down. We'll have to see if that differential closes in these last 18 laps.
For the first time all night long, you have to think Orman has been out front and clear, no lap traffic, but after pit stops, he is behind lap traffic, and it's not really affecting him. If anything, it's helping him because he gained a 10.5 on Shawn. And now here comes Trey Smith back out onto the racetrack, right in front of the leader and the lap truck.
That's going to slow Orman down a little bit right there.
Oh my goodness.
Orman, gotta be careful.
Orman did. You have to think he has this one in the bag as long as these lap trucks not messing him up too bad. But Trey Smith, have to feel for him. He's been fast the last 2 races, and unfortunately not going to get the result. And this is not what Orman wants to see. The lap trucks trying to pass Orman back. What's the driver doing?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to have a talk with him after this one. But no, I think Benny Watts is trying to get back on the lead lap right there, you know, just in case a caution does in fact come out, which it is still possible, even though we only have 16 laps to go. We've been caution-free. I know Watson wants to get back in the lead lap. I mean, Trey Smith is multiple laps down at this point, so he really doesn't have much to worry about. But this is definitely bringing in Eric Shawn and these guys who do not have the lap traffic to deal with right now. It's Chris Reynolds behind Eric Shawn right there, and Orman's still on that outside lane.
Trey Smith is
getting pushed up.
Oh my goodness, Trey Smith. Trey Smith is 4 laps down, make that 3 laps down. Josh Brimson is 2 laps down, and I don't know what happened to him. Maybe he had a similar issue to Trey Smith. I'm not entirely sure. You guys will see that in the corner of the screen. Now we have a potential race on our hands. As a woman did have a 2.5-second lead, and now it got cut down to a second. And Eric Shawn, we've seen glimpses of him having a long one truck during that first one, and he might have a long one truck once again because he's starting to pull away from Chris Reynolds, and it's down to 1.3 seconds coming to 12 laps to go at Richmond Raceway.
I wouldn't say Eric Shawn is actually pulling away from Chris Reynolds, but these guys are definitely closing in on Orman. Now, granted, Orman was stuck in the outside lane for about 4 laps there, and that really held him up. But now that Orman's single file, he might be able to pull away, but it looks like that 9 is just struggling regardless. I mean, Watson's pulling away from Orman right now, made the pass, and so is Trey Smith. That number 9 may not have the speed that Eric Shawn and Chris Reynolds do here near the end of this race, and it could get interesting. That 52 and that 61 could have a shot at this race victory here with 11 laps to go.
I don't know. Well, obviously, being on the outside lane, that took a second off of that 2.5-second lead, but maybe either woman's team made the wrong adjustment and messed up the speed of this truck, or this everyone behind him made adjustments and Orman didn't. Something happened, but Orman is definitely not as fast, so it's down to a second now. You have Richmond between Orman and Eric Shawn. Chris Reynolds went wide in the number 61 truck. Mitchell Collins is in 4th. John Hernandez is in 5th. Still 6th place for BB Ruiz. 7th for both the Crown Jr. He came in 5th in points, 14 points back. He could be the point leader. Just like Zidell in 8th. Anthony Hernandez in back in 9th. And Owen Miles is in 10th. Good one for him. And Jordan Stout, he, I believe, is only 2 points behind. He is just outside of top 10, and he might be the new point leader for Jordan Stout. And Nathan Woolman is still losing time here. Well, that time
he actually gained a little bit that time, so it might be evening out at this point, but he's got to be careful. I wouldn't push the issue with Trey Smith anymore because you don't want him to try to pass you again. He's going to stay behind him and roll that inside lane. It is difficult to make a run here, make a pass here at the Richmond Raceway, but we'll have to see if Eric Shawn can close in. It's one thing to catch a guy, it's another thing to pass him, and that definitely is the case. There's no gain that lap around, so it's looking pretty good for Nathan Orman right now.
Trey Smith, I think it's safe to say that if he didn't have a problem on pit road, he probably would be in the race lead at this point, because I think he definitely has a faster truck than Orman. But that's massively unfortunate, as it looked like Shawn gained a little bit, and he did about 10.5 last time by, but he's going to have to gain 2 or 3 tenths a lap at this point if he wants to have a shot at this race victory.
we're just going to have to see. 52 is trying all he can to close in. And all it takes is one mistake out of Nathan Ormond, and that 52 is going to be right there. Can't really tell. I don't think he closed in much that time.
0.88 to 0.85, not much. Ormond trying to hang on. As long as he does not miss the corner, go wide, because that is what would really devastate him. Because a lot like what we've seen with Chris Reynolds, he's going wide and he's losing time on this 52 machine. And now Ormond might be settling in. He might have been saving his tires, but now he's starting to pull away again, and he's starting to catch up with Trey Smith. From the 4 laps to go here. And I don't know if this is smart. If I was a woman, I would not try to pass the 40. I would just stay behind the 40 of Trey Smith and just hang on for this race victory. 3 laps to go here, and Ormond is looking pretty good for him to get this race victory.
It looks like Ormond may have a little bit more long run speed than we thought, and he might be utilizing that to maybe get around this 40 machine and just possibly put a lap car in between him and the second place. But like I said, he's got to be careful not to let Trey Smith cross back over, and that is a possibility, considering that Trey Smith was second place. I don't know. If Trey Smith gets to the inside, which I think Ormond's going to be able to pull away enough where that's not going to be an issue, Eric Shawn, may have had a shot, but Ormond's a little wide there. But it's the white flag here at Richmond. I don't know. This could get interesting.
White flag is out at Richmond Raceway. It is a second lead for Nathan Ormond. He's stuck up top. If he massively messes up 3 and 4, Eric Shawn might have a shot at it. I think this is what Eric Shawn wanted, but it's going to be too little too late. Nathan Ormond's going to get it done. Dominating performance. A lot like Will Springs, and Ormond will win the Toyota Owners 250. A Toyota almost wins this thing, second and third. But at the end of the day, Ormond gets the job done, and a lot like Willow Springs. Once someone got out front, it was dominant from Ormond. Not quite. Willow Springs, Quinn Moore had a challenger. Tonight, Ormond had a challenger until his challenger messed up on pit road somehow. And once that happened, Ormond just pulled away. And I think if it was a longer race, maybe Eric Shawn would have had something, but still a great one for that 52 team. And Ormond, first win on the season for that number 9 Chevy.
Yeah, great run for Nathan Ormond here tonight. And they were obviously the fastest car. Ormond was doing some sketchy things near the end of that race, trying to get around Trey Smith, but thankfully he decided to make that pass when he did. If there were still 3 more laps in this race, Eric Shawn may have actually gotten to Nathan Ormond there for the race win, possibly, because kind of got stuck in the outside lane with Smith. But Nathan Ormond, obviously the class of the field here tonight, and definitely deserving of that race victory here in the Toyota Owners 250.
Yeah, for sure. Unfortunately, Toyota did not win the Toyota Owners 250, but Toyota did get second and third, so I guess that's not too bad for Toyota. Ormond for dominant performance. I don't know what's happening this season, because every test race it's chaos, but then the actual race is calm. But that was a pretty good race, though. Nevertheless, saw a lot of battles all over the racetrack until pit stops happened, and once pit stops happened, Ormond was able to hang on to the race victory. Eric Shawn in second, Chris Reynolds in third, Mitchell Collins in fourth, John Hernandez in fifth, B.B. Velez in his first start in the 45 to get sixth, but the Jr. in seventh, Justin Zidell in eighth, Owen Miles in ninth, Anthony Hernandez in 10th, and Jordan Stout in seventh. The 7th truck gets 11th. He might be the point of leaving this one here. Eric Monaco in 12th. Great one for the C1 champion Monaco Garcia. 10 plus, and we saw him make contact with the 91 of Doretto. Doretto ended up having no hood, but I guess it didn't affect Putnam too much as he gets 14th. Jason Miller in 15th. Hartman in 16th. Anthony Machine in 17th. Buchanan, who I believe, if I remember right, was tied for the point lead with Aaron Abel. He finishes ahead of Abel in 18th. Elijah Gordon in 19th, and then the most recent winner, last time out, Moore finishes 20th. And Chad Gronkowski, it was one of the 4 drivers in the top 4 in points. He finishes 27th. Zachary Fitzwater again, a bad finish for him, 3 races in a row. And Aaron Abel to tie for the point lead, finishes all the way back in 33rd. Not a good night for him. Probably not going to make a point after this one. Matthew Burnett, who got spun, he comes from 35th. And then something happened to Josh Ramson 2 laps down on pit road, and something happened to Troy Smith 3 laps down. And that's probably the biggest heartbreaker, because 2 races in a row that I think Troy Smith had a truck that he had a shot to win at, Willow Springs and Richmond, but unfortunately this time does not get the result that he deserved here at Richmond Raceway. Caution free, but a pretty interesting one here. And what's the final thoughts at Richmond Raceway for race 5 on the season?
Definitely an interesting one, and it was a calm race, and I was glad to see that. I'm glad we didn't have a wreck fest like we were fearing we may have here tonight. But Nathan Orman definitely showed a lot of strength here in this one, and going to be interesting to see how the points end up shaking out, because we didn't have too many of those guys who were up front in the points run up front in the race. But either way, a great race here from the Richmond Raceway.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how the points shake out here for the Powerade Truck Series, and maybe these guys were saving it for Martinsville. Who knows? Martinsville next week for the Powerade Truck Series, second race of the short track swing, I guess, for these truckers, and that's going to be a wild one if there's anything like we saw in the JBL Cup Series. We might be in for a show. Thank you guys so much for watching here at Richmond Raceway for race 5 on the season, and the points will come out next here at Richmond. And congratulations to Nathan Norman on getting the race victory here. And the points will be next. And until next time at Martinsville Speedway, for I believe the ballpark hot dogs 200 or something like that. We will see if the field gets some hot dogs and victory in that one. And until then, we'll see you guys at Martinsville for race 6 on the season. Bye.